to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry. This is Finish It Friday. I had to think for a second. Wow, how fast the week went by. Here we are on Friday, ready to see what things I may have finished and some things that 10 of you have recently finished. So we will have a quilt show here in a minute. First of all, let's just go through what's happened so far this week. I will tell you something I don't have here I can show you is that I made a hanging sleeve for the second fair quilt. So that is inside getting stitched on by me, not at this moment obviously, but I am working on it. And I did some cleaning up there in the house with some of the scraps, not all of them, a lot of the long arm scraps, had batting hanging off of them and stuff. I got those down because they take up a lot of room. So I cleaned all that up and straightened that up, and Mark's big table in there is nice and cleaned off now. Also, what did I finish? Well, I did the Blockheads number 9, and that's the one for this week. So it's number 9, and it had some foundation paper piecing to it. Don't look really close. It's not my best work, but it's going to have to do. It's made out of Tilda scraps, so I'm not going for perfection on this one. I'm just going for skill building and getting it done. So, got that done. I used 2 of the same print, but different colors. So that's what I did with that one. I forget the name of that one. I didn't look it up for you. Sorry about that. And then the other thing that I did was the number 2 block on the Fat Quarter Shop Designer Mystery. Now this one did turn out pretty doggone good. It took me a day and a half off and on working on it, but I finally got it finished. And then we'll talk about those, the finishing kit. You know how I asked you guys on Monday, should I go ahead and do those borders that go around each block so that I don't have all of that to do at the end? And most of you thought that I should do that. So today, actually, this is Thursday. So today, Thursday, I cut up my finishing kit. So I am ready to finish as I go. And it's not on this board, but I also cut out the borders and the binding. So I am extra ready for finishing this quilt 10 months from now. So I will be way ahead of the game by the time we get block 12. So thank you for your input on that. I thought it was a good idea too. I kind of thought that before I heard your responses, but then when you guys chimed in on it, I was like, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And the name for the shark, everybody agreed it should be LEILANI. So LEILANI the shark. I'm going to write that on the back somehow. Maybe it's got a dark back. Maybe I'll do it in a white marker or something so that I won't forget. I should put a label on that, shouldn't I? Yeah, labels. It doesn't always get done, does it? Okay, I think that's it. I think that's what I did this week. It was a little bit of a lazy week, although I felt busy. I wasn't stressed or rushed on anything. So that's called number 7 of having good quilt health. Enjoy what you're doing and keep your projects going. So that's what I did this week. So let's get into your finishes, and we will start that little show right now. First up, we have one from Mary, and she says, hello, so here is a small project. I wanted to try cathedral windows and had a partial charm pack of Tulip Tango Spring by Robin Pickens for Moda, and the centers were a filler, I believe, from Joann's. While it's beautiful, I don't think I will make this pattern again, as it really hurt my arthritic left hand as I did all this by hand. It's a perfect placemat or wall hanging. It measures 10 inches by 15 inches. Thanks for all your inspiration and time you take to keep us entertained each and every week. Well, thank you for tuning in, Mary, every week. I love Tulip Tango, and wow, I've not made a cathedral window quilt before. I kind of have an idea of how it goes, And so you used the Robin Pickens fabric and put yellow in the centers. So from what I understand, there's a little folding technique there that makes this kind of 3D. And it does look like a cathedral window in some instances. So a very old technique, but it's still something that we can do today and make wonderful quilts with that design, either entire quilts or even a small quilt like a mat or wall hanging, which is what this made up as. Very nice. Next we have Pat, and she has some teddy bear Linus quilts. Check these out. She has 3, I believe, and then a little peek of the back of each one. We have one made up in reds and pinks, blues with some yellow, and then kind of a flannel jeans, maybe denim version there. These all turned out so cute. Love the little bear motif, so nice. And he's pieced, so it's not like you have to do applique or anything like that. So he just comes together in with the rest of the piecing around the edges there. And it uses up a lot of your scraps, doesn't it? She's done a controlled scrappy here by doing them in color families. And I see your quilting on the back there. Very nice. And all bound, ready to go to the Project Linus program. Very good. Kara said this is the first time sending in a photo. Welcome, Kara. She's from Spokane, Washington. She says, I discovered your channel at the beginning of the year. When you made this boho bear paw, I realized it was perfect for a layer cake I'd purchased and wanted to use for a baby blanket. I was short on time to gift it, so tied this quilt the day before the shower. Thank you for all your inspiration from your channel. Welcome, Kara. Glad to have you. I love your big old boho quilt. And the fact that you tied it, I think that just adds to the boho effect. And a very cute layer cake indeed for a children's quilt, for a baby quilt. Very nice job. I need to quilt mine. I haven't quilted it yet. Next we have Deborah. And we have 2 Deborahs. This is Deborah L. And she says, hi Sherry, I am in a blue mood. Here are 2 recent finishes of blue quilts. The log cabin quilt with the bag was made from one jelly roll from Fig Tree and Company called Denim and Daisies that I mixed with some of my stash blues. I still had a lot of blues left, so I decided to make the Ocean Waves quilt with curved borders and scrappy bias binding. Quilting this one was very difficult as I quilt on my domestic machine. Hopefully you can't see that close. I'm still not finished with my blue mood as I have started another. Thanks for all you do. Love your videos. Thank you for watching, Deborah L. I love your Denim and Daisies quilt. Another quilt top that I need to quilt was my Denim and Daisies that I did. And look, she's made a matching tote bag. I also have a tote bag project for Denim and Daisies that I need to get busy on. So you're inspiring me, Deborah. Thank you so much for that. Your quilt is beautiful in the log cabin pattern. Her other one here with the leftover blues that she did with the curved border. That was quite a bit of work there with all of those half square triangles. Love the quilting you put on it. You said it was kind of hard to do the quilting. I bet it was, but it turned out a fantastic quilt. So keep going with your blues. I love the blues too. I'm frequently in a blue mood. Next we have Karen. And Karen says this is her son's quilt. She says, every time I finish a quilt, my son asks if it's his quilt. I have made his family several quilts, but never a specific quilt for him. So I recently came across this quilt, and bingo, it was a perfect quilt for him since they just purchased acreage in the eastern Kentucky mountains. It's called Legendary Bigfoot by Elizabeth Hartman. Just gifted it to him, and he loved it. I also made the pillow first to see if I would be able to make the Bigfoot figure. And yes, you did. You did a good job with this fun pattern. All the Elizabeth Hartman patterns are so fun, are they not? And this Bigfoot is perfect for a guy. That's a great guide quilt. I wonder where in the eastern Kentucky mountains you landed. That's where I'm from. Giselle got away from making her wonderful quilts that she makes and did a palette cleanser. So from a quilting cotton that she just couldn't hardly bear to cut up and was quite a challenge, as I'm not a garment maker, this was one of my late mother's 70s patterns that I had to enlarge and use French instructions. She says, now back to quilting. So you got that out of your system, didn't you? But what a charming little robe this is. It is so cute. You did a great job, and for someone that doesn't do a lot of garment sewing, it looks like you did a great job. You always do a great job on your stuff, Giselle. I've not seen you do any clothing before, so you're good at that too. So maybe we'll see some more clothing from you. I doubt it. Not for a very long time, right? Because you said now back to quilting. The next one is from Kathy C. She says this is her vintage violets. Look, she made a vintage violets. Thanks for coming up with a perfect pattern on the exact day I needed it. Easy and right size, omitting the last row. I made mine for my granddaughter Luna. I used grunge pink with 9 fat quarters from Robert Kaufman's line of painterly petals. Quilted on my long arm, then I stitched a non-skid fabric on my domestic sewing machine, turned right sides out, and did a top stitch all the way around. No need for binding. No raw edge sewing. So there's a reason why she did the non-slip on the back, and you're going to see that in the picture of the playpen. Look, there's the baby enjoying her quilt inside her playpen. So I'm assuming that you were going to babysit and you needed to get something in the bottom of that playpen before she got there. So just in the nick of time, and it is gorgeous for a baby girl. Love it, love it, love it. Pam has a Friday finish here. She says this is a mashup of 2 different patterns that I combined to finally finish the Fat Quarter Shop Pressed Flowers quilt along. Now this was the one before Peaceful Baskets. She says instead of using the same setting pattern, I decided to use the Sugar Pie pattern borders around individual flower shapes, and I added the piano key border, keeping the scrappy feel throughout. It's being gifted to a friend. Thank you for sharing it. Always a pleasure to share your stuff. Pam, you're always busy quilting up your finishes here, and this is no exception. And I love how you bordered up all of your pressed flowers, and put the piano key border on the outside. It has a little bit of a soft touch, so that makes your flowers stand out nice. Very great job. Now we have one from Deborah C. This is our second Deborah, and she has a jelly roll quilt here, and it has a story. She says, I started this quilt about 2 years ago, but thought it was too much black fabric. I kept seeing it in my unfinished project boxes, but it had no pattern with it, so I couldn't finish it. After going through all my jelly roll patterns, I decided on Missouri Star's Bear Paw. I don't know if this was the pattern I started with, but it fit the already cut fabric. The fabric was from Connecting Threads in 2022, and I cut the setting triangles in the traditional manner instead of the way the pattern suggested, which would have all the biased edges on the outside. The pantograph is Calliope. Always love your finishes too, Deborah. They're always so neat and pristine. And this is no exception. She long arms her quilts as well. Love this line of fabric here with the teals and all the purples and lavenders and the black. I love how this turned out. And it's kind of a variation on a bear paw, really, I guess. I really like it. It doesn't have the center square in each one, is what the difference is, and the sashing that goes between each of the quarters. But it's beautiful. I love it. I love this pattern. The last one we have in our 10th one for this week is from Patricia, and this is Patricia H. And she says, "Hi Sherry, my name is Trish." I'm not going to say your last name. "I live in Cincinnati. I've been quilting for almost a year." Oh, we have a new quilter here, but look what she's done. "Please don't look too closely at all of the faults. I hope I attached the photos correctly." Yes, I believe you did. She says she's not too tech savvy. "Thank you for your channel and inspiring me." Well, you're welcome. Thanks for watching the videos. Now, this is what I would call a true bear paw pattern with the sashing in the center square. So you can see that variation that Deborah had in her quilt as compared to this traditional one. Still a bear paw, just a little bit of variation there. I love your bright colors and your little pop of a gold yellow there with the bear paws and the piano key border. Looks very nice. Another purple and teal. That's interesting that Deborah and Patricia both used purples and teals and darks and two different variations of the bear paw. So that is really cool. Okay, wonderful finishes for this week. Again, as usual, it's just such a delight to see what all you all have been doing. I just love all of it, and all of our viewers love what you send in of each other's. So we had a few new people this week too, so that was nice. And there's more in the queue that I would have loved to have shown you, but trying to keep the video a reasonable length so that you will go all the way through it in one fell swoop. I keep it to 10, so I think I have a good 5 or 6 out there, so I need 4 or 5 more for next week if you're so inclined. And there again, you guys that are just out there like a fly on the wall for the videos, why don't you send some of your finishes in? We'd love to see you on the Friday show. Alright, have a great weekend. I'm going to continue on with whatever I have to do. I'm going to keep things moving, and I hope you keep your projects moving too this weekend. It's too hot to do anything outside here, so more than likely I will be in this nice chilly shed. Alright, have a great weekend, and I will see you back here for Monday Quilt Chat. Bye!